You're not picking. It's a vocalist thing. Am I picking?
Check. One. 1, 2, check.
All right. Well, I guess. Let me see. Welcome to Riff Pulse Media, everyone.
Riff Pulse
Media. Today I have my good friend and fellow bandmate, or just mate.
or mate. Ooh,
Mate, yeah.
I like that.
Sean. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
On the is this going to be the second podcast?
Second, yeah.
The first one was awesome.
Thank
great,
you.
a lot of great information.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you having me. This is going to be cool. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot to talk about. We even have some great news. Or, well, how would I say it?
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Well, how's your week?
Week's going good. Just kind of busy, doing a lot of stuff, and trying to stay busy with planning some stuff coming up in the future. Other than that, and was looking forward to this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, and we were trying to plan it for like, I guess a week.
Yeah.
You're just like, today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. I think originally it's Friday today. Yeah. Tuesday, we talked about Tuesday, and then we said, I got a Hurricanes hat on, and the Hurricanes were closing out the series on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to be that guy, but
yeah. What do you think? I know this podcast is not a hockey related or sports related podcast, but still, what do you think about? What is it, Hurricanes and the Rangers now?
Yeah, Hurricanes, Rangers. Rangers have home ice advantage, but I mean, I don't know if it's gonna make that big of a difference. But now I got my prediction is Canes in 6. I think Canes in 6 games.
Yeah,
and they're gonna move on.
And so Islanders and Rangers, they're both from like New York.
Yeah.
We're lucky, huh?
Yeah. I mean, they're commuting to the same place. But yeah, the Rangers play at Madison Square Garden, which is really cool because I mean it's Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
it's like legendary.
Yeah, we should play there.
Yeah, I'll talk to the booking agent. I think. Yeah,
we should do that. Well, so tell me. So obviously, for those who don't know, me and Sean, we play in the same band called trEMOnt. It's a tribute band to emo and pop punk. Yeah,
like kind of the golden era, I'd say, or golden era of emo pop punk music. Kind of the early mid 2000s into the earlier 2010s, and a couple that are a little bit newer than that. But it's it was a project that started kind of by accident. Our drummer Dylan was asked if he knew anybody by one of his friends that was putting together an emo night, and was asked if he knew anybody. He said, or any bands that would do it, and he was like, I don't know any bands, but I know people. So let's I'm gonna try to find some people. And he asked me, and then a couple other people came on board, and then Kirill, who is I always make the joke is the most talented guitar player in the band. So we stuck him on bass guitar. He joined the band, and the rest is kind of history. It was supposed to be a one-time thing, a one-show thing, and we played the first show, and it just snowballed from there. And here we are 2.5 years later.
Yeah, I remember when I was in talks with our first guitar player. And actually, funny enough, I was still in Russia.
Yeah.
And then I pretty much knew that I have to fly back when I fly back, that I was able to make it to the show, but I have to practice the songs, learn the songs. And this music is not something that I listen to on a daily basis or back in the days.
Yeah.
Because being from Russia, it wasn't affected by the same music as you guys did, in the same way.
Yeah.
So I have to certain stuff I haven't even heard.
Yeah.
Like Understatement, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to, fly back I think I bought bass actually. As far as I flew back, and then I was just like, "Hey, I'm like ready." And then you guys saw the bass or something, and you're like, "Okay, here's it."
Yeah. He had it's like a kind of like a Music Man or like an Ernie Ball style bass, and it's like this really cool like powder blue, like just quintessential pop punk bass guitar. And we were like, "Yeah, no, he's in. He's in."
Yeah,
So.
no, that was fun. The first show was also a really good show, surprisingly.
Yeah. It was
Black Box.
It was Black Box Theater, in Charlotte, and like kind of the Noda neighborhood, and they don't. That venue is a lot more well known for like EDM shows and stuff like that, but they didn't do a whole lot of live bands. In fact, I remember the sound guy that they had at the time. I don't know if he's still there, but he even was like, "Yeah, you guys are kind of the first live band that we're doing here," and it ended up being the sound was incredible. The lights were good. The stage is large, and there was a good amount of people there too. So, I kind of walked on stage. I hadn't played a show in almost a decade at that point, and I was very nervous. I walked out on stage, did not expect that many people to be out there, and was like, I hope I remember the words to the songs, but. Which I probably didn't remember all of them.
Yeah. Hey, it worked out.
It
we all
worked
had
out,
fun.
yeah.
We just actually will anchor from here to like your career, like music career.
Yeah.
So you said that you haven't played in a decade. So I know that you played in obviously few projects that have been somewhat popular, at least in
local, local popularity. I mean, we did some touring and stuff, but it was kind of like the DIY touring. We weren't on like any major bills or anything, but kind of 2000, and I guess it was a year or two after high school, so it would have been like 2008. I joined a band as a lead singer that had existed for a number of years in Charlotte. They were called This Waking Moment, and I think their lead singer at the time I think he maybe had taken a career somewhere. He was having to move. I don't remember exactly the story, but they wanted to keep doing it. And I knew one of the guys in the band. I said, "Hey, I'm interested. I'll try out." Worked out. And that lasted maybe a year. And then I started another band with a group of guys who I'm still very close with, called We Shout Goodnight. And that was kind of like straight up pop punk. A little bit on the heavier side, in some aspects. That lasted 2 or 3 years, and we did a little bit of touring with that band. And then one of the DIY tours we did with that band was with a band called Alaretta, and our guitar player in trEMOnt, Andy, was in Alaretta. And when We Shout Goodnight broke up, Alaretta was kind of also breaking up almost at the same time. Mm-hmm. And me and Andy connected, and we were like, well, let's start something else. Yeah. And so we started a band called The Seasonal Affair, and that was a really cool band. It was a very like catchy pop punk style too, but it was like more on like the super catchy side. Andy's just an incredible writer. He writes like the catchiest hooks I've ever heard. So and that band lasted a couple years, and we kind of just played shows sporadically, practiced and recorded some stuff, but that was mostly just kind of a DIY band. Mm-hmm. So
I think we should say shout out to Andy.
Yeah, shout out to Andy.
Yeah, and his great move at the last show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Andy, our guitar player, Andy Pienta, at our last show, Emo Night Charlotte, got engaged on stage.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, here's the thing. I feel like everyone knew, but I didn't know.
Somehow the bird didn't deliver the message to Kirill that was happening, and I think Garrett asked me, our other guitar player, he's like, "Did you not tell Kirill?" I was like, "I thought Dylan told Kirill," and Dylan's like, "I thought Sean told Kirill."
Yeah.
So there's a couple videos floating around where you're standing on stage and you're like clapping, you're like happy for him, but you can kind of tell like what's happening.
Yeah. No, it was funny from my perspective. Pretty much, you got Tempe on stage, so that was Skater Boy.
Yeah.
So, and this stuff happening, and then you kind of like keeping her on stage, and then where the laptop and everything is set up for starting and stopping the tracks.
Yeah.
I think Andy had his bag somewhere underneath.
Yeah.
And I'm like stopping, and I'm like chilling next to the laptop, waiting for the next song, and he just kind of moves me to the side, and I'm like, it goes to the bag and starts digging through. I'm like, maybe my thoughts were like, maybe his the pack went out, he needs batteries or whatever is going on. And then you start talking about the love in the air, just like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So that was funny. And then obviously, the whole beautiful moment and everything. And
it worked out because, to be honest, so Andy stayed at my house. Andy lives in like Durham, and anytime we have shows, Andy will usually stay at my house. And of course, we were trying to sneakily talk about it and like plan it, but Tempe was there the whole time. So
did you guys meet in the bathroom?
Yeah, we snuck off. And no, Tempe actually had gone to bed somewhat early, and Andy and I stayed up a little bit later the night before the show, and we were kind of trying to talk about it, but I don't live in a big house, so I was like, it's almost like kind of like a whisper conversation, and then you hear like a creak, and you're like, is she coming out? All right, we'll keep talking. But I thought it worked out really cool, and the crowd made a lot of noise for it. It was really really cool.
I mean, the whole show. I think we should, obviously, big thank you to everyone who came.
Absolutely.
And that was an amazing show. We had a lot of fun. Seems like people had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so. And, it had a lot of positive reactions afterward, which is always, as an artist, as a musician, is the best thing. I mean, honestly, it's
And that was the best one so far.
I think so.
Like number wise.
Yeah.
Amount of people and stuff like that. I mean, we don't have to wait too long to tell them. I can be like,
Riff Pulse Media exclusive. So the success of the last Emo Night Charlotte prompted the next Emo Night Charlotte. So we're going to be dropping the date of that right now. October 19th. It's a Saturday. It's...
There you go. I'm trying to help.
The crowd... Man, the crowd's going crazy. October 19th is a Saturday. Same place, Amos' South End. They treat us very, very good there. The owner's awesome. The bartenders are awesome. The sound people, the audio engineers and stuff there are awesome. They treat us really good. And they're going to welcome us back on October 19th, which is, to me, a great weekend because it's kind of, it's an emo night. It's a couple weekends before Halloween, so there might be some.
Are we doing anything for Halloween?
I don't know. We should plan for something.
Yeah.
That's when I said earlier, some ideas were getting floated around. I was working on some things this week. That was some of those things. We're. I'm not gonna give away too much yet, but mostly because I don't know. I'm still planning it, but it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be kind of the same format, similar format with the last Emo Night. So the first part, and if you've never been to one, the way we do the Emo Night Charlottes is we have a DJ for basically the first half, kind of your standard emo night. He's gonna play all the jams, all your favorite pop punk and emo songs, and then trEMOnt we usually do about an hour and a half of a live set, high energy, quality music, trying to represent the songs that we're playing as as best as we possibly can. That's kind of why we say we're a tribute band and not necessarily a cover band. We are a cover band, but we're paying tribute to all of these songs, kind of like, you know, your tribute bands that paid tribute to the 80s hair metal bands and stuff like that. They want you as an audience to kind of feel like you're at a Poison concert or a Guns N' Roses concert, Kiss concert. And that's kind of what we want to do, is we want you to come to the shows and kind of get lost in the sauce a little bit and forget that we're a bunch of just regular dudes playing some cover songs and be like, I feel like I'm at a Mayday Parade show, or I feel like I'm at a Newfound Glory show. So that's kind of our goal when we play. So mark your calendar, October 19th, Amos' South End. More details to come.
And I'll say one last thing. We were about 50 people shy.
That is true.
About 50 people shy to sell it off. Sell out the Amos' South End. So next one, we have to sell it out.
That's the goal. We're going to do it. The goal. We are going to do it. Yes. Perfect time of year. I can say that we'll probably do like a costume contest of types. I'm kind of working on an idea behind that because it will be close to Halloween. We do usually do like giveaways and kind of like a best dressed, most emo kid in the audience giveaway, but I'm trying to coordinate that a little bit better for the next one, especially since we're going to be so close to Halloween. So.
Yeah. So since you are being a promoter, or you like stepped into the shoes of the promoter, so was it hard, or was like, what's the, you know, do you like it? You don't like it? You know, was it as you expected to be like easier or harder? What do you know?
So I will say I don't necessarily consider myself like the promoter.
Yeah.
I saw kind of an avenue I had and this kind of I was having a conversation with somebody in a band recently about this because they asked like, oh, how'd you get that show at Amos's? I literally sent an email. I mean, I asked, and it's the music industry, so you might send 10, 15, 20 emails or more and never get a response from a venue. But I always say if you're a band and you're trying to get shows, I mean, sell yourself. Sell yourself as a band. Even if you're sending them pictures of the biggest, best show you've ever had, and it was 6 months ago, I mean, sell yourself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened here. I was trying to book shows for trEMOnt, and I had this idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of do an emo night, and I wanted to do it a little bit different. Because emo nights are fun. I've been, I've gone to them. But I really thought like the addition of having a live band at an emo night would be cool.
Plus, we also had success,
and
with
we
that.
were doing it. Yeah. So, and we had done. That was kind of our first emo night. It was a shorter set, but it was kind of in that format, and that was through an actual promoter, and they were great. They still do emo nights. They do them actually at the Music Yard in Charlotte.
Yeah, they cool too.
Yeah,
I go there sometimes if I have nothing going on. If I want to go, just instead of going to a club.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just go to like an emo night, listen to Slipknot, listen to other stuff because they play even heavy music, System of a Down.
Yeah.
Have some blast.
Yeah. And they do a really good job. Like the way their format is a little bit different than the Emo Night Charlotte format, but I think that's good because, and I've told people in the past, like, and I've talked to people that have gone to both, and they say it's, even though they're both emo nights, they're completely different. And so the atmosphere is way different at the Music Yard. One, it's an outdoor venue. It's like, it's just like kind of a different feel. Yeah. And then Amos is it's a music venue. Music Yard is too, but it's outside. It's just a completely different atmosphere. But
two different experiences.
Yeah. And you can go to both and not be like, even if they were a weekend apart from each other, which we try not to do that, but even if they were, it's like it's two different things. You're going to two different things. You're enjoying the music you like, but it's not the same experience at each one. So, after we did that first, we did a couple emo nights with them, with the band, and they were kind of like shorter 30, 45-minute sets. And then they kind of restructured the way their emo nights a little bit, and that's kind of where I kind of stepped in and made a connection with the owner of Amos's, and emailed him, asked if it was something that I proposed an idea. He liked it. He said, let's try it out. The first one we did was on a Friday. Saturdays are kind of the prime days. And that's the other thing. You make compromises with venues and stuff. So,
you have to prove yourself sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the music industry. And he said, all right, I'll give you a Friday, which is still a good day. Still, there's no work the next day for a lot of people. Yeah.
Or Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. So he said, I'll give you a Friday and we'll see. The first two did good numbers. And the second one the numbers were not as good as the first one, but he didn't hold it against us because Seosin was actually playing the same night right down the street.
Yeah.
And it kind of cut into our numbers a little bit. We had a little bit of competition. So
that's only because we don't have a Seosin song in our set.
Yeah.
If we would have one.
Yeah, we would have brought him every. There would have been 3 people at the Seosin show. Yeah. No, Garrett can probably sing that high, can sing those high Seosin notes, but
that's an interesting part of trEMOnt, and I would say if you have a band where, and I can say it about trEMOnt, that every person in the band is such a talented person.
Yeah,
it's amazed me, like, because obviously we all played in different projects, and I listened to music of all those projects, and they're all good. And like having the range, one person can sing. Well, everyone in the band, at least in trEMOnt, can sing besides me. Because if I'm going to sing, I'd be singing with like a thick Russian accent, and be like, your picture's fading, but I close my eyes.
That might be foreshadowing. That might be added to the set, ladies and gentlemen. That might be added to the set.
But it is so crazy to have so much talent in like a tribute band.
Yeah.
And sometimes I know that we, the level of musicians and talent, but it's just kind of like just crazy to think that we play in the tribute band, and it feels like we're playing on cheat codes.
Yeah,
because of the amount of people you can bring.
And I've had this conversation with people too. I feel guilty sometimes because I will be the first to tell you, when it comes to booking shows, it is easier to book shows as a cover band or tribute band. Because of what it is.
Yeah.
And I think for trEMOnt, because it's kind of a niche, we kind of have found like a niche in our style that not a lot of people are doing around where we live in Charlotte. Bands are starting to do it more and more, I think. Yeah. But kind of in our area, I don't know. I haven't found one yet in all of North Carolina that is doing specifically what we're doing. Now, I mean, there's definitely cover bands that are playing Fall Out Boy and playing Blink-182 and stuff like that. But kind of doing it the way we're doing it, I think we kind of found a niche there, and that has made it honestly in a guilty way very easy to almost book the shows.
Yeah, I can relate to that in terms of amount of people going to when you write original stuff, and you played in the bands too, and you had to try to fill in the clubs or whatever, and then it definitely feels like it's like, okay, I'm sorry everyone, but we'll have 500 people today at this show.
Yeah, well, but it's still, what I think is great about everybody in trEMOnt is, even like this last Emo Night, there were, like you said, there was 500 people, 550, I think. or close to 550 or 500, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But we were all shocked. Like everybody in the band was shocked because we were just like, holy crap. Like it's still completely unexpected to us because we're playing cover songs, we're playing tribute songs, but it's songs that clearly a lot of people want to hear, and we're there to do it for you. We're there to do it for you.
Well, what I want to say in terms of how people can apply it, bands that write original stuff. I guess if you can deliver that experience, whatever the experience could be.
Yeah.
Like just put a super, cool show with lights, maybe program your lights with, just program them with your own lights. Obviously, it's more cost. You have to, invest more money into it. But if you can deliver experience, there's a lot more. It's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's beneficial to you to deliver a cool experience to a viewer. You
got to market yourself. You got to be marketable. Yeah. I mean, and that's been a thing in the music industry. That's not new. That's been for decades and decades and decades. I mean, you even look at like the Beatles. Yeah. And, they had like matching outfits and stuff like that. I mean, and that was marketable, and it carried into even nowadays. If you're gonna be an original band, especially original band, where you have to stand out, do those things. I mean, even obviously with your music, you want to play the best that you possibly can, even if that means, if having your drummer play to a click track, something just as simple as that, so that you're on time, your band's on time all the time, and then from there, if you have a song that you recorded with the piano in it, but you don't have a piano player, have a piano backtrack. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Me personally, I mean, I think you start getting into kind of a hairy situation when there's like a sick guitar solo on your recording, and then you throw it in a backtrack because none of the guitar players can actually play it. But that's kind of where...
Yeah, I think so that you have to play yourself. Yeah. For sure. Any solos. Piano. If you don't have a piano player, definitely put in the backtracks, But most of the metal...
Which trEMOnt. I mean, like, and I say that because, we play a Yellow Card song. We play Ocean Avenue. Ocean Avenue has violin. And we don't have a violin player. So we have a violin backtrack because when people think Yellow Card, they think of the violin player. That's one of the things that made Yellow Card Yellow Card. And then we play a Motion City soundtrack song. We don't have a synth player, so we have some synth in the background, and so
I think backing tracks are important, super important.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we have Garrett, the mastermind of doing all the backing tracks.
Shout out to Garrett. And Messenger Down, his band.
Yes. Actually,
he's coming out with some new music.
Yeah, that last song, it's not really, it's like a one long song that you can break it down. I think he broke it down on 3 different songs.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah, listen really to it. I also watched on this exact TV. I watched the whole thing, and it's cool. It's like memories and stuff like that.
He does a really good job of kind of like theming, like putting a theme to what he's doing. Yeah. Which is, again, that goes back to marketing, and he really thinks he thinks about stuff like that, which is great.
Intentional.
Yeah. There's intent behind everything he does, and that goes a long way. I think if you're wanting to do something serious in the music industry, that's what people look for. I mean, on top of the many other things like raw talent and how you sound live and things like that. But I mean, you look at, there are bands out there or solo artists out there that came out with a really cool song that was really popular, and then you see them live and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, but it's some of the bands are studio bands, and there's definitely sometimes you can listen to music recorded and then live it could be two different experiences.
Yeah.
I just want to add a little bit about the bands and having like you have to have a vision, I think.
Yeah.
A vision, a clear vision, and also be able to execute.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have to have both. If you have a vision but you don't execute, obviously the vision doesn't matter because you don't do anything with it anyway.
Yeah.
If you don't have a vision and if you execute without a purpose.
Yeah.
You just kind of like do random stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this is two main key points that you need to have, like have a vision and execute. And obviously, hopefully a vision is good enough.
Yeah.
And pretty much that's what I would say to the bands that I wouldn't say starting out, but or maybe struggling with like finding something, a path.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I mean, and obviously it depends on what you want from your band. I mean, if you start a band and you say, no, we just want to play weekend gigs at the VFW hall or at the local Joe's Bar down the street, then that's great. Like if you're like, Joe's Bar pays us $300 on every other Saturday to play, that's what we're going to do. That's awesome. But if you're an original band and you're like, this is what you want to do and you're trying to make it, you're trying to get, whether it's a record deal or get onto a tour or whatever, get some management behind you. That's exactly right. I mean, you have to look at your band as a business at that point. Yeah. And with every business, every good business has a good business model, good business plan. Yeah. And that kind of goes back to what you said about execution. Plan it and execute it. And, there's been bands even there's been bands in the pop punk and emo genre that released a record and you could almost tell that it was like they put a theme behind the record. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of pushed by whatever label they were on, and it just didn't do well because it was almost like forced. But I don't want to name drop any bands, but I do have one in mind that did that, and then they were like, nah, that did not work at all, and they flipped right back to what they were doing before, and then they got right back on the mat. It was like they hopped right back on the horse and kept riding. But and that goes that kind of feeds into what the other point is like. If you do something and it fails, it's not the end. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta.
I can name drop one band. Architects did one of the albums. They went direction of more. It's not a pop punk, but more soft style.
Yeah, yeah.
And Architects usually they started as almost like a mathcore, and then it got a little heavier. Then they did one album that went the album that I'm talking about, a little softer. And then I feel like people went, like that meme, ew, brother, ew, what's up, brother? That's what happened. And they were like switched.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't hurt them because obviously right now they are one of the biggest bands in like Bring Me the Horizon, Architects, and metalcore kind of scene.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you can always pivot. So you can experiment. And if it doesn't work, you can always, go back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since you name dropped, I guess I'll name drop. 4 Year Strong was the band that I was thinking of. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had two, like, fantastic records that, and this was, I guess, 8 to 10 years ago now. So it's been a while, but they had two fantastic records that, like, just put them on the map fast, quick. And what was great about them was when they played live shows, they like backed it up. Their live shows, their live performance was phenomenal. And then I think if I remember right, they signed to a new label. And then I think
they pushed them.
They kind of pushed them in to do something a little bit different. And I'm sure they didn't want to put out the same third record that was the same as the first two, but it was almost like it was kind of like that. It was almost like a genre switch. Mm-hmm. Not completely for them, but it definitely went to a softer side when that was one thing that made 4 Year Strong so iconic and recognizable was the fact that they had these pop hooks and pop punk hooks, but with this like real, like almost like heavy undertones to it. And yeah, that record came out, and I don't think it did very well at all. And I think even because like if I remember right too, like they have two singers, they both play guitar, and they kind of do like a call and return style of vocals. And they had they were burly dudes, tall guys, beards and stuff. And I think when they released that record, like they shaved their beards. They like kind of went maybe they had mustaches or something, and they kind of went like this like cleaner look. And it was like it just didn't work, And I think they realized that because they grew back their beards, and then they started they kind of went back to what they were before. So
yeah, they went to their show and it just went.
Yeah, there was like eight people at the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we gotta figure this out.
So obviously you already talked about two albums that you like. So what's the albums that you think shaped you as a musician?
It's gonna sound very cliche, but so the first album I ever owned was a cassette. It was Green Day Dookie, and that kind of shaped me into the 4-chord progression loving pop punk kid that I grew up to be.
Yeah.
And that Green Day kind of started that, but then Blink-182 came out with they had been around, but Enema of the State came out, and then Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and at that point I think I wanted to be Tom DeLonge, and got my lip pierced when I was in like 8th grade or something. I don't know.
You had only one piercing, just lip?
No, I had I gauged my ears back in the day, did that whole thing. I think I self pierced my lip, I think. And
oh, damn.
and I didn't keep it for very long, but
I have a funny story. I only had my eyebrow pierced once. I have my ears just regular like earring and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've done it in Bulgaria while still living in Russia. And then, Russia is a little more strict about stuff pretty much having the, some like a piercing here. And I was like in high school or whatever. And I remember it was either basketball or volleyball practice. And then I'm sitting chilling, and there's like just one of the girls, and she just like, she said it in a different way, but pretty much it was just like, "Are you an ally of the LGBT community?" Simply because I was having a piercing.
Because you had one piercing is gonna. I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's the world we live in now, though. I mean, it's and I don't know. I don't want to. Can't get like political or anything like that. Like, I come from the mindset that love is love. It's like, you be with whoever you want to be with. I mean, it's like, but it is kind of like sometimes you get to a point where you wear a shirt or something, and like, somebody's like, "Do you know what that means?" And you're like, "I have no idea what this means." Yeah. What do you mean? What? It's a shirt. I bought
Vans.
it.
Vans. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Vans.
And then come to find out, somebody somewhere on Reddit said that it was offensive in some way, and I'm like, that's happened to me in the past, and I'm like, I didn't know that. Like, I don't have any idea.
Yeah, but it's hard to keep up with some of the internet stuff.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 30 this September, and I start feeling really old.
Yeah.
How old are you? Just say it quietly.
That's rude. I am years old. That's how old I am. No, I'm
great move.
We're gonna have to make that funny. We're gonna definitely have to do some cutting in post.
I'll do that.
No, I'm 36. I'm 36 years old.
Yeah, I start. So for instance, we're walking through Costco, and I see like some camping stuff or something, and I'm like, I
just started that story with we were walking through Costco, so I know you're old now.
Yeah, okay,
you're old now.
Okay, yeah, and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm like, camping stuff. looks kind of nice.
Yeah.
What's this? What's that do?
Yeah.
So, have you ever seen? I don't know. I found it funny. I saw a meme where it says, "Every guy." I think it says after 30, almost like Hogwarts, the Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Goes into the 4 different house,
Uh-huh.
and it says Ryobi, you know the brand.
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, yeah.
it
Oh
was
yeah.
like-
Yeah. So which house are you a part of in your as a 30s male?
I think Ryobi. That's what I have the most.
I
Dealwort, and then I
yeah,
think that's-
DeWalt,
DeWalt,
Milwaukee DeWalt.
Dealwort is whiskey. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually have a Ryobi lawnmower, battery powered lawnmower.
There you go.
So
We're in the same house.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're the same house.
Like right now, and in the same house of
Yeah.
old people.
But I will say, I bought a Ryobi weed eater, and it did not function well. So I took it back and I bought a Craftsman.
Oh.
So
So you're like a double agent.
yeah. So I'm sneaking into the other houses.
That's funny.
No, the Ryobi lawnmower. People knock the battery powered like lawnmowers and stuff, but I don't have a big yard, and I don't ever have to put gas in it. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about oil, stuff like that. I put the battery in it, I press the start button, and it starts right up, and I can mow my whole lawn with one battery
Nice.
charge. So,
Brought to you-
not a sponsorship or anything, not
Yeah.
an endorsement. But if Ryobi is looking for endorsement spots, I'm sure Riff Pulse Media is open to.
Yeah, or trEMOnt.
or trEMOnt,
Yeah, how would that look? Would you have to like ride on a little electric motor,
Yeah,
like
well,
to the stage on the stage?
all of our gear will be bright green or whatever their color is.
Andy's halfway there.
And yes, he is 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So what made you? I started. We got to this part in a weird ways, but I wanted to ask you what, because I know you have a guitar home, kind of like a studio.
Yeah.
Obviously you do vocals, but you obviously also play guitar. So, what is the music that you like? Is just that's why you started doing music? How'd that happen? Like
Yeah. So, once I got into like kind of Green Day and Blink 182, I kind of got into some other bands and excuse me, and it was I just kind of followed that pop punk, kind of like pop rock too, because I really enjoyed like the Goo Goo Dolls and Third Eye Blind and the Verve Pipe and bands like that too. But yeah, in high school I just I fell into that, pop punk scene in North Carolina. We had a couple really cool bands. One was called Farewell, and then the other, they were from, I think, Raleigh. They were from like the Raleigh area. And then we had another band called Secret Lives of the Freemasons. And Secret Lives is one of those. Farewell is too, but Secret Lives was a band that was around like 05, 06 is kind of when they peaked. They got signed to Victory Records. And it was
the Heart of Victory.
Yeah, so they kind of got signed to Victory Records around the same time that A Day to Remember got signed to Victory Records. And they were kind of similar in ways. To me, at the time, Secret Lives was better than A Day to Remember was. And
That's a big statement.
it is a big statement.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, go on your music streaming app of choice. I use
Platforms.
Spotify. Yeah, I use Spotify, but and look up the Secret Lives of the Freemasons, and there's a album called Weekend Warrior, and I think that album came out around 05 or 06, and it could be released tomorrow, and kids would be like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! This is so sick!"
I'm gonna look it up while you.
But and kind of got into those bands, like kind of from a local standpoint. There was another band called Bombshell. I still keep in touch a little bit with some of the guys that were actually in that band. And they were from Charlotte, or actually I think they were technically from Rock Hill, South Carolina, but Charlotte area. And they were, again, they were another band that was like just kind of ahead of their time. They were kind of like the from first to last, clean vocals with like this heavier guitar tones and stuff like that. They were so good, and those were kind of bands that I kind of looked up to, and kind of modeled, I guess, my obviously the bigger bands too. I mean, All Time Low was coming out, and bands like Mayday Parade and Hit the Lights was a big one for me. And those bands were putting out really, just to me, really, really cool music. And that's kind of how I modeled my writing and stuff like that after. They were kind of my influences. So
Hit the Lights. So was it the second show that we played?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we played with vocalist of Hit the Lights.
Yeah, Nick Thompson. Yeah.
So, and it's I'm never even heard of Hit the Lights because I'm from Russia. I have a built-in excuse.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I remember that I think after we did the sound check, and Andy was just like, "It's like, dude, you don't understand. Like, just doing a sound check, with him, that or with someone who Hit the Lights, that was like a kind of like a bucket list for me."
Yeah.
Was it the same for you?
Yeah. No, I mean, it was. I had heard that the lead singer lived around. He lives in South Carolina now. I won't say exactly where, but I had heard through some people that I knew that he had a while ago moved to South Carolina, and so for the second Emo Night, I reached out to him and just said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this? Being like kind of doing a guest appearance?" He said, "Yeah." Gave him kind of a number, obviously like a price because nothing's free. And he's still in the industry, he's still making music, and that's from that. The promoter side of me is always trying to help. Like, I want to make sure everybody's taken care of.
Yeah.
Promoters are kind of like a middleman sometimes, so they have to make their money. But because I kind of eliminated that middleman part, I'm part of the band, then now, I don't want to pay myself as a promoter. I want everybody in the band to make good money. I want, we had a photographer at this Emo Night. I wanted her to make money. I want the DJ to make money. I want, and then in his case, I said, what's it going to cost?
Yeah.
This is kind of my, this is kind of my budget. And that's another thing too, is like, throw a number out there. I kind of learned that the hard way, because I had asked a couple other people for other Emo Nights to, I had reached out to even like some of their management and been like, "Hey, what would it cost to have this person be a guest star or do a guest appearance at this Emo Night?" And both of those people responded with an insane number, and I was like, sorry, I can't do that.
Thank you.
So I kind of learned. I said, okay, this is my budget. This is what I'm working with. Is it possible? And I gotta know from somebody, and then that was for other Emo Nights. But I gave Nick a number, and he said, "Yeah, that's fine. I'm close by. It's not like you have to fly me there or anything. I can drive there." And so it worked out. And that was definitely kind of I had got him an Airbnb actually. So I had to check into the Airbnb for him for that, because they were gonna stay. He was going to stay the night after the show instead of having to drive back to where he lived. But, it was kind of like one of those moments where I was like, "Oh shit, this is really happening." Oh, man,
we got to hang out with him and just,
it was. I didn't want to fangirl too much, but but he's also the type of guy where he's very down to earth, very humble and stuff like that. And almost to the sense where like Skip School Start Fights, which was a Hit the Lights record, what is to me is probably one of my top 5 favorite pop punk records of all time. And that's with bands like Blink-182 and stuff. For me, that record from start to finish is just incredible. And so like from my perspective, it's like talking to him, I was like you're a god, you know, and
it is weird.
And he doesn't feel like that at all. It
is weird. Yeah. I have a same thing with Kellen McGregor. I feel like I'm going to drop his name too many times in general over all the podcasts that will be released.
Yeah.
But it's just an interesting because when you see a person over a screen, through the screen, you know, and then you meet someone in person, it's obviously, and then if you get the chance to talk to them and get to know them, it just like brings them to the level of regular human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just kind of like,
Well, I think that's what's crazy. That's what's cool and kind of crazy about the music industry too, is like, because there have been people in this industry that I would say, that I looked up to or was influenced by, and then I met them and no longer, you know, they kind of were kind of like that stereotypical, and, you know,
asshole.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's not even, it's one thing, and I always say this, I'm like, there's a time and place too, right? So, you know, if you're a celebrity and then or a musician or whatever, and you're out to dinner with your family, and somebody comes running up to your table while you're out to dinner with your family, like, that's pretty rude of that person to do that. Whether or not
some people walk into it pretty much.
And then when the person's like, I'm with my family, can you, you know, and then that person who is trying to get an autograph or whatever, talk to the person, is like, yeah, they were an asshole. No. That's different. But like, in the situations that I met some of these people in, it was kind of like, there's no reason for you to be the way you're being, you know, like, and, but very few, it's actually been very few and far between. Most of the people in the music industry are very kind people, good people. And a lot of them, if you ask them questions like, you know, things that could help you move forward in the music industry, they're willing to help you. They're willing to give you an answer.
Yeah.
And
that's what happened was pretty much us and Kellen.
Yeah.
He met up here in Charlotte. He would have a show here in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And, you know, he would meet up with us. We actually went to, I forgot what's this place called. Has a bunch Optimus Hall.
Yeah.
He just went out with us at Optimus Hall. We had food.
Yeah.
You know, that was before we played our show. We asked him a bunch of questions, so it was cool. I have a funny situation with Hit the Lights because they had a merch table set up.
Yeah.
So I invited a friend, and he came, and he's from Russia, and he came to the show, and then he listened to music, but he's not into like bands and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
So there was our merch table. They were selling this exact shirt that I'm wearing right now. You can't see the back, but there's stuff on the back. And it was Hit the Light stuff.
Yeah.
And then I put him on the guest list. I asked you to put him on the guest list.
Right. Yep.
And then so they came in, and I was like, well, he said, well, I mean, he was just like, you know, I feel bad, you know, that you put me on guest list because I wanted money go to you guys. And I was like, well, if you want to, you can support us. You can buy like a T-shirt or something.
Right.
And he was like, okay. And then we finished playing. I go upstairs where the merch table set up, and he just standing with 2 T-shirts from Hit the Lights. He was like, look, I bought the merch. I was just like, that's not ours. You're just like, oh shit.
You did the right thing though. You're still supporting somebody, which is cool. And that kind of ties into one of the other things I like to do with Emo Night Charlotte is back in the day at Warped Tour. One of the cool things about Warped Tour was there's bands playing all day, and there's sometimes like a 30 minutes to an hour break where there's not really a band on the schedule that you need to see at that moment. So you go kill some time, rehydrate, go to the bathroom, and then go check out. There's tents, all lined up around the grounds at Warped Tour, and you'd go check them out. And obviously in a much different, smaller scale, one of the things I like to do with Emo Night Charlotte is do what I call it like a local business showcase. So Amos's has an upstairs, and because there is not a full bill of bands with their merch and stuff, which is where this area in Amos's is usually designated for, because we don't have that. We have, trEMOnt. The DJ might have some merch or something.
Yeah, sometimes.
But there's all this extra space, and I think it's really cool to kind of showcase some local businesses that do anything from handcrafted arts to kind of
clothes branding. Whatever.
Clothes and stuff like that. So, and I don't charge anything for that. So it's kind of like, I'd kind of treat it like kind of a first come, first serve type thing. Yeah. Like if you're interested in doing it, if I have the space, if the space is there, and then anything you sell at the event, is all yours. I don't charge like a table fee or anything like that. But
no, that was nice because me and my girlfriend, mostly her, she did a bunch of stuff for the Emo Night as a clothing brand, kind of like merchandise, Steel Emo, Elder Emo, stuff like that. It went really well, and we had a pottery and I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, there was it was Queen City Crete, is the name of the brand, and she does. She was actually a last minute addition. We had another. There was somebody that was going to have a table set up there, and they unfortunately had to cancel around a week before, and it's totally understandable. And so I kind of wanted to fill that position or fill that spot, and I put out some feelers on social media and stuff like that, and got in contact with her, and she came, she showed up, and she had some really cool stuff. I got a hand concrete.
Oh, you got something too?
Yeah, I got a concrete hand. It's like, the devil, the horns. So
yeah,
I got that placed up in the house. So
my girlfriend got she traded one of the sweatshirts.
Oh yeah.
To it's a pot for the plant in the form of like a booty.
Oh yeah,
it's over there. You can't see it, but it's over there. So
did you see the video she just posted of that?
No.
Okay, after the podcast I'm gonna show you. It's one of those like she morphed it with another video. Kind of like, have you seen the videos of people like getting hit by cars, and then like
and
I know
what you're talking about.
It's kind of like one of those
I've
videos.
seen those with UFC fighters when someone get knocked out and then he falls, and then it goes into the cutter on the frame into like some meat or sausage falling on the pan, and they start frying it.
Yeah. So it's one of those. It's like one of those cutaway edits, and I've laughed very hard at it. So. Shout out to Queen City Crete for that one, because, but yeah, we like doing that because it supports the local businesses and the small businesses and stuff.
Yeah. So what do you? I know obviously you probably mainly doing trEMOnt. So like, you have anything planned? Anything cool planned?
Yeah.
Are we gonna release original song?
I think we are. I think we should. We have some stuff in the works. We do have some things that we're working on. I have a solo project. I'm gonna be announcing actually a tour with artist named Taylor Swift. I'm gonna be opening for it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't. That's the thing about being in your 30s, and that's kind of why the cover band or the tribute band is so great, is like it's kind of no pressure. We can practice, we can learn the songs pretty fast, and go out there and have just a blast playing the songs. But I still have my career and my bills to pay and stuff like that. And that's what makes it kind of great. And at this age, at this point, in my early 20s into my mid 20s, I was pounding the pavement trying to, make it as a band and stuff like that. But no, I do some stuff in the studio on my own sometimes, but I really do. I think I'd probably text our group chat.
Yeah.
Or I'll text Andy and be like, dude, can we freaking write something, please? Like,
we just have to put pressure on everyone by saying that we're going to release something and put it out there.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say a date. I was gonna say like September 20th.
You're like, attention, September 20th. Not wait a second, that's 20th. I have my birthday 21st. Every time.
We always get something on your birthday. Yeah. I had to actually the next Emo Night was potentially gonna be on your birthday weekend.
Yeah.
And I had to reach out to the owner and say, hey, is there any other dates? Which actually worked out because I didn't really have to do that because he actually emailed me and said, hey, I'm really sorry, but the dates that I told you were incorrect. And so will these dates work? And October 19th was one of those dates. So,
and the last birthday we played Alabama, Furnace Fest.
Yeah.
Pre-show, post-show, what was it? After party.
Yeah, it was a after party, pre-show type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a mini Warp Tour out of it myself.
Yeah, we rented an RV for that one and we felt like a touring band.
Yeah, my main memory from that, which is a funny memory, is me waking up in the van. We parked. The light outside, it's already light,
Yeah.
And I'm getting out of the van, just kind of like chilling, walking around the van, and then the part where there's like a part you can open in the van in the back, and you can put like luggage in.
Oh, yeah.
And like walking around, and all I see is like the head sticking out of it, just one head. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I look at, and Andy just. His full body, it's in there, and he just lays it there.
Mind you, this is a full RV with multiple bunks.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the bed. There was a pull out couch, and Andy actually had one of the bunks. He was, I think he had the bunk above mine, and. It was one of those nights that you do as a band where there's some adult activities being done, but he chose the storage area, one of the
most random places.
The storage compartment in the RV, in the back of the RV. No, that was a lot of fun. That was a really fun trip, and
hopefully more to come, man.
Yeah. Well, I think we had to set some ground rules though. We had Andy and Dylan, our guitar player and our drummer. They were so excited about it that they sang at the top of their lungs for hours on end. And everybody's trying to sleep, and they're still partying and singing at the top of their lungs.
Yeah, but, I mean, hey, it was fine. It was fun.
Yeah,
so that's the main thing.
But there you go for some of the bands out there. If you ever make it, if you ever are traveling in a van or even something as big as a tour bus, make sure you set ground rules.
Oh, yeah.
Quiet times, bus calls, things like that.
Yeah, I feel like what I've heard with traveling, touring, you don't mess with a few things. You don't mess with the people's sleep.
Yeah.
That's the main one I heard. So it's like a ground rule.
Yeah.
You don't you just don't if someone's sleeping, they need the rest. Don't mess with them.
Right. No pranks. Yeah.
I'm gonna prank him and put ketchup on his face or something silly like that.
Yeah.
So because that just will create. Yeah, definitely. There's certain ground rules that needs to be set up.
No number twos on the bus. No number twos in the bathroom.
Maybe it was just our rule. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty standard rule. I think, yeah, because you don't want to stink up even if you're in a massive Prevo tour bus, you don't want to stink up the stink up the whole bus. But we did not have one of those. We just had a RV, a family RV. But
Yeah.
No number 2s on the bus.
Yeah, just at Buc-ee's.
And then
This
you
was
always
Buc-ee's.
gotta stop at a Bussie's.
Yeah, we got it. Garrett or maybe you got it. Crowd got chanting Buc-ee's.
Bussy, yeah, that's
Buc-ee's.
right. I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, we're at the 1 hour mark, a little over that. So where can we find Sean on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Sean Helman. That's SeanHelman. And you'll know it's me. There's a picture of me singing on stage.
Yeah, the handsome man.
And then obviously you can find our band at trEMOnt Band. And you can check out Emo Night Charlotte at Emo Night CLT.
Emo Night CLT. And we have to sell out the Amos's October
19th, Saturday.
Let's do that.
So we're gonna hold it. We're gonna hold it to you guys out there.
Let's go.
This has been a presentation of Riff Pulse Media.
Well, man, just want to thank you for doing this.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man.
Always a great time.
Yeah, cool. We're gonna peace.
See ya.
Deuces.
Y'all have a great weekend.